Human resource functions are an important element of modern organizations today. This article discusses legal concerns related to human resource issues within an American context, although the general principles would be applicable in any setting. In many local governments, there are at least three groups or organizational units that share responsibility for human resource functions. They include managers and supervisors, human resource professionals, and attorneys. Managers and supervisors are the key players responsible for carrying out human resource responsibilities on a daily basis, such as performance appraisals and disciplinary actions. Human resource professionals, typically housed within a centralized human resources department, have formal authority to conduct and oversee many human resource functions, such as employee testing, job audits, and compensation programs. Attorneys have a wide range of responsibilities to ensure that human resource policies and decisions pass legal muster. This article specifically addresses some of the legal concerns and issues, i.e. the hot topics, that constitute the primary workload of attorneys that practice local government employment law. If you function as a human resource professional in a public organization, you'll spend many hours speaking with your attorney over human resource functions. Examples of laws and regulations impacting human resource functions include the Age Discrimination in Employment Act, the Americans with Disabilities Act, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Fair Labor Standards Act, the Family and Medical Leave Act, and the Uniform Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, among others. In some jurisdictions, the primary attorney responsible for employment law compliance is an attorney in private practice who has a contractual relationship with the local government. The authors first had to determine what the hot topics were in human resources issues, looking at the literature. To do so, they examined the newsletter of the International Public Management Association for Human Resources over a 2-year period. The major issues they identified are in Table 1 in the article and serve as a starting point for the discussion. Many attorneys that practice employment law participate in informal attorney networks. These networks are often formed through a variety of existing legal organizations, such as state and regional bar associations. These bar associations provide a place for attorneys to meet others with similar interests and practices. In addition to informal attorney networks, attorneys practicing employment law may also attend meetings of the local chapters of the IPMA-HR and other specialized conferences addressing human resource issues. Employment-related issues do not abide by jurisdictional boundaries. Attorneys learn about the types of issues faced in other jurisdictions through these published cases, conferences, and networking. To gain an understanding of the types of human resource issues encountered, members of one of the informal networks in the Hampton Roads, Virginia region were asked to identify the common types of issues based on the topics identified in the literature review. Using the topics identified in the literature review, one locality's human resources issues were categorized by topics and are displayed in Figure 2. Attorneys who participated were asked to rate the frequency with which they encountered these types of issues. A simple rating scale was used to assess the frequency with which issues occurred. They include frequently, sometimes, rarely, and not applicable. These results were then aggregated. The literature review revealed that there are many recurring themes that keep coming up that attorneys continually have to deal with. There ended up being 6 types of human resources issues frequently requiring attention in the local public workplace. These issues involve the Americans with Disabilities Act, general disciplinary issues, issues regarding dismissal of employees, grievances between employees and management, policy interpretation or drafting, and then Title VII of the Equal Employment Opportunity Act. These are identified in Table 3. Dealing with these issues can be very expensive and time consuming for public agencies. So what can employers do to successfully address these potential litigation issues? Strategies to address the workplace issues use tried and true methods, including drafting good policies and revising them frequently. Training employees to follow procedures utilizing scenarios that prompt open discussion. Development of issues awareness and recognition of employer and employee responsibilities. And insisting on effective consultation and communication among managers, human resource professionals, and legal staff. In other words, work together as a team. But there are also newer ideas that are taking hold within local government. There are a total of 6. The first 3 strategies focus on prevention. One such idea is to conduct regular field audits by having human resource professionals and/or attorneys visit work sites to visually review practices for compliance with rules and regulations. The second idea is to encourage the human resources team to focus its attention on troublesome areas by conducting spot checks in areas of the organization suspected of non-compliance. Third, human resource managers can borrow claims prevention and claims management strategies from employers' risk management divisions to resolve workplace concerns. In addition, there are 3 other strategies that focus on involving members of the workplace in the resolution of employment concerns. The first strategy is to gather together a work team, usually including managers, human resource representatives, and employees, to brainstorm creative solutions to problems. Another way to involve members of the workplace is to place upper-level employees, like assistant city managers or chief officers, in highly visible and more readily accessible positions to encourage employee interaction with upper-level management and to discourage inappropriate work practices. The third strategy is to establish an ombudsman position that reports directly to the organization's chief administrative officer. The research also found that certain other issues were largely ranked as not applicable. They include issues related to disaster management, planning and recovery, alternative dispute resolutions, outsourcing, workforce planning and budgeting, reductions in workforce, and work-life balance, quality of work-life issues. The picture on the right represents genuine fear some local government officials have when they try to do their jobs. They try to do their jobs the best they can, and if they offend the wrong person, it is possible that they will run for office just for revenge. The authors encourage local governments to address both existing and emerging issues using a team approach. By doing so, localities are able to identify multiple resolutions to an issue, selecting the approach that best fits each individual employment situation. Secondly, human resource practitioners are encouraged to commit to policies and practices through written guidelines. That way, they can avoid the issue where a counselor seeks revenge against an employee. This can limit potential misunderstanding or misinterpretation of guidelines. If policies and practices are detailed in writing, and staff are provided copies of these policies and required to sign off that they have read and understand these policies, that eliminates the possibility of someone claiming they were unaware of the policy. It is impossible to predict which of today's modern human resource challenges will become tomorrow's hottest issue. In this instance, the adage that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure holds very true. You have now completed the lecture for this article. Please read all articles and complete all lectures before completing the assignments. Good luck.